Walker Hedley was born in 1941 and began his working career as a livestock specialist with the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture in the 1960s. He was a well-respected advisor in the beef, swine, and sheep sectors. In 1970, he became the Executive Director of the Ontario Cattlemen's Association, otherwise known as the OCA, now known as Beef Farmers of Ontario. Over the next 31 years at OCA, he honed his expertise in the complexities of the modern cattle industry, including nutrition, genetics, animal health, marketing, and policy. During his tenure at OCA, the beef industry underwent immense change and challenge, gradually moving from a commodity approach when selling product to a food-based approach marketing the nutritional quality of beef. As market analyses developed, Graeme and the OCA promoted an improved rural-urban interface in discussions about animal welfare and environmental safety related to animal production. This ultimately led to the establishment of the Ontario Farm Animal Council, known as OFAC, which championed responsible animal care. Mr. Hedley developed a pilot project to show proof of concept for electronic sales of beef cattle. Ultimately, the Ontario Livestock Exchange bought the concept, grew the process, and expanded it globally. Thanks to Graeme's leadership, these electronic sales have greatly improved animal welfare, eliminating the need to transport cattle to and from auction markets. Beginning in the late 1980s, cattle producers were faced with very high interest rates and growing debt levels. Under Graeme's guidance, the OCA established training teams to work with producers and the banks, which resulted in the development of the Feeder Finance Initiative. He was also recognized as an excellent agricultural policy analyst, able to analyze current conditions and provide the leadership to define policies and programs to counter sector challenges. Two of his major initiatives had important positive impacts on the beef industry and agriculture in general. Graeme Hedley led the move to divest the Ontario stockyards from government ownership through the Stockyards of Toronto Land Development Fund. The result has been the provision of millions of dollars to Ontario livestock organizations, enabling them to invest in the continued advancement of Ontario livestock agriculture through genetic improvement and through other research projects designed to keep the agriculture industry on the leading edge. He assisted the Ontario Cattle Feeders Association to become established to successfully market and brand Ontario corn-fed beef. This association markets more than half the fed cattle in Ontario and continues to grow its markets in North America and internationally. The OCFA also administers the Ledger Account program developed by Graeme and the feedlot operators to establish a business risk management tool for the operators. Graeme continues his work as chair of the Canadian Beef Grading Agency from 1999 to present, which establishes a national grading system to promote marketing and production decisions. He also has served as the secretary of the Ontario Agricultural Commodity Council, which is a coalition of 31 commodity organizations formulating common positions on farm business risk management programs and coordinating the investment of research funding. Clearly, Graeme Walker Hedley is an exemplary addition to the Ontario Agricultural Hall of Fame. He's been nominated this year by the Beef Farmers of Ontario and the Ontario Cattle Feeders Association. Graeme?
I want to thank the Ontario Cattlemen's Association, as I know it, but Beef Farmers of Ontario now, and the Ontario Cattle Feeders Association for submitting my nomination and supporting the nomination, as well as the others that supported the nomination as well in letters that were written in support. I'd like to thank the selection committee of the Hall of Fame for finding me worthy of joining the Hall, and in doing so I feel both humble and proud to join such a group. I'd like to congratulate my fellow inductees. I've known Bruce for many years. And Tom, who's going to be here in a minute, was one of my classmates in '64 OEC. In my working life, I've had excellent staff to work with. And some of them have gone on to be leaders in other organizations. I'd like to particularly mention Jean Scott-Nicky, who is now the Executive Director of the Animal Health Association, Canadian Animal Health Institute, and Jim, who has headed up the Ontario Cattle Feeders Association. I feel like I've had two working lives. I spent 31 years with the Beef Farmers of Ontario, and I followed that up with another, I believe it was 14 years with OECC, and 17 years at with the Association of Community Pastures, a job which I'd taken on before I left OCA. And in that process, we had privatized the 11 community pastures that are in Ontario. And I've had a personal life along with that. Marg and I raised 3 children, and I have 6 grandchildren. And we bought a cottage near Bancroft in 1972, and that has been the place where we have gathered for many years when we have family events. Marg used to say that she felt that the cottage was her home. She had she grew up in Toronto, but she had spent a lot of her early years in summers on the lake. The beef business has been part of my life for the last 50 years. I grew up in a beef cattle and hog farm. The beef business is a dynamic business. It's a tough business. Twice we've beaten back regulated marketing. But over the course of time, the industry has gone global. It responds to economics, production economics, consumer demand, and the global marketplace. I've been proud to have served as part of that industry. The real thing about it is over the years, it's the people, the men and the women who make their living out of the beef industry that I've worked with on policy issues, program development. They are the people that really make the business, and I have been proud to have worked with them to help make the business what it is today. It has changed dramatically, but it is what it is. It changes with the pressures that are put on it. Thank you very much.